Hey guys, it's Eric with the Miller Park Minute where we're excuse me. Let's start that over. Hey guys, it's Eric with the Miller Park Minute where we're throwing strikes and getting likes, hitting dingers, and getting listeners. Back again with another episode. Brew Crew wins today. Let's talk about it. I got a couple pet peeves I want to talk about. There's a couple things I want to talk over. So let's get into it. But first, let's talk about where you can find this show if you don't already know. YouTube, Spotify, Google, Amazon, CastBox, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Apple, Rumble. We are live on Rumble as well. We also are now with Brewer Fanatic. We've got a new partnership with the guys over at Wisco Fanatic. And those two are... we're going to be doing some collabs, so look out for that. So let's talk about today's Brewers victory. I think it goes without saying that it's always good to get a W under the belt. But in this fashion, sometimes a little more challenging than not. Welcome to whoever's. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. We are just getting things set up here as I go, so I apologize if I am distracted for a second here. Tyler, I sent you a link, buddy. If you want to hop on and chat about it with me, we can. Oh, you're not done watching it. So it's tough for me. So I'll admit, first and foremost, I did not watch the first part of this game. Through the first five, I was watching the wrestling pay-per-view. I was watching Money in the Bank. And it was worth it. It was worth it to me to watch Money in the Bank. I didn't dual screen because I was also doing a basement project at the same time. So it was one of those situations where I had one device. You know, my iPad wasn't charged and I wasn't able to do. I had to put some shelves up. So organizing the Christmas ornaments in the middle of summer is always a fun and exciting project, but it was something that needed to be done. So that being said, I didn't see the first part, and I was on my phone doing some transactions for fantasy baseball, and a buddy of mine texts me and goes, "Oh, sure, you make some transactions on fantasy baseball," and Burns gives up the perfecto, and I immediately at that point was like, "Perfecto? What?" So I was like, "Oh God, this sucks." You know, I missed him being perfect for 6 innings or 5 innings, you know, and I was like, God, that sucks. So then I flipped down on my phone while I still had the wrestling event because it was just finishing up, like when we were in the 6th, and it was funny to me because I was like, God, I bet BA is talking about it because you know that's how BA announces, "Hey, Richard, how we doing today, bud?" And sure enough, and I was texting back and forth with my bud there and one of my other guys. He was perfect through 5. Yeah, I walked the first batter after the 6th. Thank you for that. I would have got there eventually, maybe. But I was like, you know, and this is just how I function. And every time I listen to Brian Anderson calling a game that's no hit or perfect, I get really pissed because that's like one of the unwritten rules. They nearly gave all of us a heart attack. They almost lost again tonight. And I think it's funny to me because it's like people don't do that in other games. If you listen to other broadcasters that call games that are perfect or near perfect or no hit bids, that's like a big thing but Brian Anderson holds no punches when it comes to saying something. And to me, that's the most infuriating thing. It's like he's the one guy out there that doesn't care about that rule. And not to say that, but it's Brian Anderson's fault. Exactly. But it still pisses me the fuck off. It pisses me the fuck off. Because it's like, this is your job. This has been the tradition of announcers for as long as time. I mean, there's not many announcers that'll say it's a perfect game or say it's a no-hit. They do everything to avoid it. They'll say lots of zeros in the columns today. They'll say all of that, and I think that's where I get irritated, because it's like, we know what's happening. Everybody knows what's happening. You don't have to verbalize. You don't have to verbalize that it's a perfect game or a no-hitter. And thank you. I appreciate that. My buddy Richard here just became a new member of the site. He's it's like Fight Club. Yes, you don't talk about Fight Club. Thank you. So if you don't know, there is membership available. Thank you, Richard, for being a new member to the Miller Park Minute family. You've already been a member to the family, but now you joined, and I appreciate that. If you want to do that, that's on YouTube. The link's below. Your support means the world to me. I couldn't do what I do without each and every one of you who are a part of this and who listen. But back to Fight Club. Yeah, it is Fight Club 100,000%. It is enraging to hear just the carelessness. And I honestly, I'd like to get him on my show. And BA is thinks he's this big hotshot. He does golf. He does basketball, whatever. He's a good announcer. I'm not saying that he's not. But I'd like to get him on my show and call him out for this shit. And I say shit when I mean, I'm mad. I get mad, and I tell everybody, I'm like, don't get me started on Brian Anderson and how his ability to screw up the precedent that has been set for hundreds of years of baseball, and talking about a no-hitter or a perfect game. And you can be like, well, that's silly, that's foolish. It was his abilities, and that's true at the same time, but superstition is superstition. This is baseball. Baseball is heavily steeped in superstition. You ever watch batters? You ever watch a batter do the same motions? Ryan Braun was classic. Adjust the glove. Look, he did the same motion. I mean, there's people who can replicate that to a T. And I think that's the burner in this whole thing, is just that fact that, you are looking at an unwritten rule. There was a ball flip earlier this season that, who did it? Was it Julio? No, it wasn't Julio. It was Wander Franco flipped a ball kind of in a show-off fashion, and there was a big uproar about that. He flipped it from one hand to the other, spun it, flipped it, and then threw it to make the out at first. And there was a big uproar. Why can't we do that for an announcer? I'd like to get him on and call him out on this, because every perfect game, no-hitter that I have watched, and he has said that, has been given up. Now, I don't remember if he called the no-hitter with Josh Hader, and I don't think he did. I think it was... Ooh, trivia question. Somebody can research that. I'm not going to research that right now because I'm just rolling with it. But I don't know who called that game. And that, okay, so we'll kind of skip around here because that is a great question. I was just saying the other day to someone, I was like, this bullpen has been the unsung heroes of this Milwaukee Brewers club that we've got. And guys like Holby, Elvis now, Elvis was really underrated, and you know, Andrews. I mean, are we gonna see a DFA or a send down tomorrow on him? I don't know. They're trying out new guys, and I'll give the Brewers credit because at this point, I almost feel like we're gonna hit that 100 mark for number of players that have been sent up, sent down, that have played for the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, we've added so many. On the subject of relief, they're tired 17 games in 17 days. That's why there's a carousel. Yeah, no, and I agree. I mean, at the same point in time, and you're not gonna have guys to fill those spots every day either. I mean, you could only pitch Devin Williams so many games in a row. You can only pitch Piamps, Perguo. Those guys are going to get hurt if we overuse and abuse them. If you go back to when we had Knebel, Hader, and Jeffress as the closing three, they danced that line with them, and that's Council's move. Even in last night's game, I was thinking that, why didn't they just walk him and bring in Devin Williams? But then you've used Devin Williams so many times in that not every guy coming up from AAA is going to be as good as the guys in your majors. Yes, true that. I think one of the things that we look at when we look at this team is you've got so many arms that are already out there, and you've got all these guys that you're working on. Your Robert Gassers, you've got Robert Gasser, who's your next prospect. You got Small, who was supposed to be a really good prospect that they were going to work into a bullpen role, and it just didn't kind of pan out. You know what I mean? Some of these things don't pan out, and relievers have the shortest shelf life of any major league player. They really do. I think that and backup catchers probably. I don't know, but yeah. So Andrews kind of gave up a big one today. Abner Uribe, yes, that was a guy I liked in spring training. I kind of have caught a couple outings from him in the. Every now and then I watch the MLB when I have the MLB.TV subscription. I'm glad they include that for free because you can kind of see some of these young guys that we haven't seen yet. And that's huge. Like, we're at a point where, you want to see these guys. And I think the reason we're searching that and we're looking at guys like Jackson Churio and all these, Felix and stuff like that is because we don't have it at the major league level. If you look at, like, for instance, in today's game, Tapia had a great 2 for 3 with a homer, an RBI, a walk, 3 runs. He had a great day, but he was kind of a fill-in too. He was one of those like fill-in pieces that we added late. And I think that that's going to continue to be part of it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's something we'll continue to keep seeing over and over and over again. But if we talk about today's game, let's talk about it. Obviously, Corbin Burns was the good. The bad, the good, I should say, 7 innings, 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Let's not forget to give his whole line because sometimes I forget to do that. Another quality start. One of my favorite words when talking about pitchers, quality start, because it was a very quality inning. Yeah, Richard said, I realize that you can't pitch everyone all the time, but we should know when someone isn't working in the rotation. We stick with them forever. With them, however, it comes back to bite us. Major league pitching is at a premium right now, Even if you look at, like, for instance, we just watched the Brewers play the Mets, and we beat the Mets. You know, two of their best guys and two of the most paid guys on that team are Justin Verlander and Scherzer, and we beat both of them. So just like Corbin Burns, guys have their good days and their bad days. I mean, if you look at Corbin Burns' last start versus today, you know, he was near perfect, near no hit today. You take the good with the bad. Out of 30 starts, not all of them are going to be perfect, unfortunately. So, I mean, I do agree. I think they did the right thing today with the quick DFA with Bush, and I think they did the right thing there. But a little more decisive at times would be best. I agree. So Burns, this Wilson's come in, and he's been pretty solid for us all the way around. Piamps has been pretty good. One thing with Christian Yelich, 1 for 3. The boys at Wisco Fanatics put out, I don't know which one of them it was, but one of them put out that with the exception of 2 games, Christian Yelich has been on base every day in June. And I think he had an RBI. If I remember the correct stat, he had an RBI in one or two of those games. They can correct this. They'll put it in the comments down below, I am sure. So we sprinkled 12 hits to get 11 runs. Winker had a 1 for 4 day. Adames, 2 for 5. You did post that. I gotta get my stats somewhere, man. And that's the truth. I think the hitting, you know, I wish we could get. I said earlier today, I wish we could get hitting more like this every day. And quite frankly, it just doesn't always pan out that way. But it was still good to see it. Even getting Ramel Tapia with a home run. Pannone, I do think eventually will come back. I think a lot of these guys just go down and work it out and come back. So I'm basing all but 2 had an RBI in 1 of the 2. See, I read a stat and I try and remember it. I don't always do it, but I did give you guys credit. So, I mean, I think that counts for something, right? If you haven't already, go over to Wisco Fanatics, follow them, follow their channel. They are now partnered with the Miller Park Minute. We're going to be doing some content together. They put out good stuff every day. They produce a lot more content than just a couple videos and podcasts every day. Did I have a downright ugly moment? I think the downright ugly moment would have to be Andrews coming in and giving up 4 hits, 5 earned runs, and 1 homer. That's our downright ugly move of the day. You know, it's scary. I thought we were going to kind of blow it like we did last night with that, that ugly walk-off that they put up on us. Never fun. Ooh, I found a free couch on Facebook. You ever wonder what I'm doing in the background? It's Facebook. No, I'm mainly because I like to comment on what other people say. Like, I like commenting on other people's commentary. So that's just making it hard to cut him when he had a bad streak, even though it's not happening recently. Yelich is going to be continuing to be our best player. That's the one thing that the Yelich haters don't realize at this point. Now, if you're talking about fantasy baseball, which I think you have him on fantasy baseball, Richard. If you're talking about that, yeah, I mean, like, position players, that's one thing I don't mess with too much. I really don't. And I mean, I'm 12-0, so take it for what it is. I'm 12-0, man. No, seriously, I'm being humble, man. I don't know how I've gotten to 12-0 in fantasy baseball so far this season, but it's been one heck of a ride. There's been some close calls, some bad moves on my part, but I'm still here in first place. And we'll see you in the playoffs, Richard. It's coming. Or Rob, whoever goes first, I guess. Yeah. I think you and Rob face off, and then I would face the winner of that matchup. So we'll see. We'll see. Is there anything else from today that I wanted to talk about? I mean, I don't think there's a guy on this team that I don't really like, that I hate as a player. Caratini kind of tends to be one of those guys that I've never liked just because he was a Cub. But he seems. Oh, the call out, Richard. Hopefully my starters are better next week. This week I've had some bunko starts from starting pitching. And Nasty Nestor is still injured, so yeah, Caratini. Back to Caratini. Sorry, Caratini is one of those guys that I've struggled to like over the years, but he seems to be a contributor for us every time he's in. He went 1 for 5 today, but again, Burns' personal catcher does a great job, so can't complain about that. Perkins has been another shock to me. He's kind of an underrated guy in this team and in this lineup, and that's okay. Turing had another hit today. He's coming back strong. Hit a day keeps the doctor away, right? I think the big piece here is going to be seeing what happens when we get Woody back. Ooh, Jay Crowder coming back. Another one I learned via Wisco Fanatics. If you guys don't subscribe to them, head on over and subscribe to them because they give the best info, and they're all over my live stream tonight, which I appreciate. I appreciate everyone in the comments. Caratini is one of the best backups, strictly backup catchers in baseball. Wouldn't want to rely on him as a starter. No, I wouldn't either. Don't look now, but Jesse Winker has a 4-game hitting streak. See, moves are panning out. Sometimes, I feel like we watch these trades happen and we watch these things happen, and Jesse Winker was one. Now, mind you, Wong isn't doing very well at all. He just looks old. But Jesse Winker is one that I didn't think was going to pan out, and it hasn't looked like it was going to pan out. Jesse Winker might have just taken his time to come around. I mean, he was very injured last year and tried to play, and yeah. Winker is one of those guys. I think he will come around and still be pretty solid. Maybe he'll be our Money in the Bank player. Ooh, reference. Damian Priest, Money in the Bank winner. I don't know who won the women's, but yeah. So yeah, if you go over by you get Wisco Fanatics on Facebook, you get them on YouTube. These guys put out stats and graphs and charts and stuff, and their content's pretty solid. And they talk about everything. I don't talk about everything. I talk about some wrestling and some Baruchu ball here and there. 4th of July weekend. I don't know if everybody's got off on Monday, but there's some games. I think we'd still take the series from the Pirates. I'm not going to rule it out. It's not that the Pirates have showed bad. I think it was our pitching has really showed bad. Turing is back with a vengeance. He's ready to go. He's ready to play. There's not much more you can say about the guy. The guy has some talent that he's just waiting to show off. Ray versus Hill tomorrow. Let's get some. I just want some run support for Colin Ray. I would really, really appreciate some run support for Colin Ray. He's one of those guys I feel like falls victim to the fact that he just doesn't get all the runs. You know what I mean? Like, he's had some pretty decent outings where I feel like he could have got the W's, and he just didn't. Last 7 games, though, he has 4-1 with a 3.79 ERA. 38 innings pitched, 33 hits allowed. And he struck out 32. So, not bad for a guy who really wasn't set to be a starter on our team. I feel like we've struggled kind of with Colin Ray and Julio Teheran. Julio Teheran was a guy you wouldn't have even thought to grace the Brewers roster this season, but he did, and he's done it in an impactful and a meaningful way. So we got that coming on. We've got and Rich Hill. I don't even know why he's been. It's like Wisco's Fanatics just said he's been a pleasant surprise. He definitely has. Like, who would have thought like that we'd be yeah, Matt Arnold looking like a genius there. Who would have thought we'd be sitting here in the first day of July talking about Colin Ray, and we've seen a handful of starts from guys that should have been in the rotation. I think one of the things you look at when you look at that is like, that's just smart baseball. They made a move. And Colin Ray was actually, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's right, but Colin Ray had like an obligation where he had to go back to the KBO or Japan. And they came back to us. So that's cool in all. So I look forward to that matchup. I always enjoy watching his starts because I think he's solid. I still don't understand. I can say this. Last time we watched the Pirates play the Brewers, I still don't understand why Rich Hill is a Pirate. It makes no sense to me how he got signed, why he signed with the Pirates. But let's go tear up on him. I mean, who cares? Let's beat him up. Who would I go after in a trade? Oh, that is a great question, Richard. As much as the starting rotation needs help, we do have our bonus player that we're going to get back is Brandon Woodruff in July. So I guess the easy answer is a bat. But do I think a bat is going to make that much difference? No, because bats come here and then they die. If you look back to Jonathan Scope, Moose was okay. Grandal was good. I guess it's really what we can acquire and what's going to be there for us to acquire when it comes down. If you go look at just kind of what we've seen on the open market, I mean, I have big eyes for starting pitchers always. That's just kind of how I operate. I think I thought Aroldis Chapman would have been a good move, but that's already acquired by Texas. I don't know. I mean, Stroman's not on the market according to trade rumors. just looking to see if there's a who would be available. Pete Alonso. Oh God, if the Mets, unfortunately I love Rowdy, but Pete Alonso would be cool. Big Dan. Didn't we get Big Dan in a trade? I feel like we did. They can go with Big Dan and we can get Pete, the polar bear. That'd be pretty cool. I don't think we're going to see as many sellers. And I don't think there's going to be as big of players. The big thing right now in the sweepstake is going to be Giolito. I like Giolito. I actually use him quite a bit in fantasy baseball. I just subtracted him from my roster probably today. That would be another one. I would feel that would be similar to a oh my God, why does his name always slip my mind? What was the starter that we had that went to the White Sox? I feel like that would be a potential, really decent move. Shane Bieber ain't going to come here. We ain't going to trade for Shane Bieber unless we give up big pieces for him. That's how I feel. I don't think you get Shohei to the Milwaukee Brewers in any shape or fashion. I'd love to see it because I just love Shohei Ohtani, but it just ain't going to happen. God, Pete Alonso, I'm with Jake. I'm with Jake. Man, Pete Alonso, bring him on. Can we get Pete Alonso and Shohei Ohtani? Dream pickups. Jake Lamb has been designated. I haven't seen a guy that's been designated that I'm like, oh, we gotta go get him. You know. I'm just looking right now. See if there's anybody that I see that's available. That I'm like, maybe. All right, guys. I think that's where we call it quits, where I'm struggling to find free agents. I might do an episode on potential trades that I think would be awesome this coming week. Add that to the list of episodes we need to work on. But appreciate you guys. Richard, thank you again for O'Neill from St. Louis. Oh, yeah, that's bullpen is adding on lefty is Justin Wilson after the break, too. Oh, yeah, Justin Wilson. I forgot about him. So we got our bonus moves that are not moves. I think, I don't know. I guess we'll explore this more in a future episode, guys, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. Shout out to Richard for joining the membership. If you want to join the membership, you just click down below on the YouTube video. We appreciate each and every one of you who comes out to support this channel and comes to listen to my videos and watch me ramble on about baseball. I love it. I do it just for fun, but it always helps for the support. So thank you guys for watching the Miller Park Minute. As always, go Brewers. Let's go take the series from the Pirates tomorrow, and then we will talk Brewers tomorrow afternoon. So catch you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. As always, go Brew Crew.